This video will be consisting of gentle lying down yoga poses. They can either be done on the floor or lying on the bed. I just want to remind you that these poses are not intended to treat any condition that you might have, so please consult with your healthcare professional to see if the practice of yoga is safe for you. And if you choose to do any of the poses in this video, please stop if you're experiencing pain or discomfort. So when you are doing this lying on the floor, I would suggest that you have a couple props. That might include a yoga blanket, or you might want to have towels, either a small hand towel or a bath towel. That will be helpful to support your head, and I'll explain that as we go. When you are doing this on the floor, please be careful in how you get down to the floor. Be respectful of any joint replacements or joint issues or back pain. Using a chair can be helpful to assist with that. You won't need the chair for the practice itself. You won't need yoga blocks. So I'm going to start with lying down and talk to you about some postural concerns. When you come down, make sure that you're not just doing a descent, depending on the stomach muscles, that's going to load the back. So support yourself, kind of coming to the side and then coming to your back. And stay with the knees bent. When you lie down, having a blanket or a folded towel will help to keep the forehead level with the chin. So if you lie down and you're in this sort of position with the chin lifted and the head tipped back, you're going to be putting stress, obviously, on these joints. So we want to have a sense of neutral position, length in the back of the neck, forehead level with chin. If you can do that without any support, then practice that way. Otherwise, bring in the blanket or the towel folded to just the right height. Having a little height under your head will also give you some ease in the hamstring length. So we begin with the position of knees bent, feet in line with the sitting bones, and you lengthen the low back. So if you need to lift, and make sure that you're not tipping the pelvis or arching the back. The shoulders are open. Bring the shoulder blades underneath, and the hands are facing palms up. So we'll begin with exploring the range of what the hip and leg muscles can do. So you're just going to alternate bringing one knee up towards you and back down. We're going to do an alternating. I'm going to give you breath cues. I want you to inhale when the feet are grounded, exhale when you bring the knee up towards your chest, and breath in through the nose as you lower. One more time each side. And now we'll go to the other side, inhaling, exhale, bring that knee up towards you, and now bring your hands to it to see what the range of motion that's available. How close is this thigh towards the chest? Don't muscle, we don't do that in any yoga pose. You're just noticing what the length is on the back body, around the buttocks, the back of the thigh. And this is equivalent to doing a child's pose or a happy baby pose. Another breath in and out. Exhale or inhale, releasing it down. And we notice in between the response in our body to that action. Then the other side up with an exhalation and supporting. So you can put your hands on top of the knee or behind the thigh. And you can use one hand or both hands. Again, it might be different now because you're doing the other leg, noticing that. Try not to roll off to your side. So keep even on the back body. As the leg comes up, notice if it's making you tip your head back or arch the ribs. So it's all about understanding relationships, where the movement affects other parts of your body. And then with an exhalation, bringing that back down. We're going to go back, same pattern, inhale, exhale, bring that first knee towards the chest, support it. And then you're going to bring the other leg in towards you. We're not going to hold it because I want you to see what it feels like to extend that leg. Now, you might be tight on the back of the thigh with the hamstring muscle, so the knee probably will be bent. We're exploring, we're understanding how our muscle length changes the shape of the poses. We're not straining. You exhale as you bend, and one more time, inhale, extend that leg. And exhale, bending, and then take a breath in, set it down. So we root one foot to protect the back, and then bring the other leg down. In the pause, before you do the next pose, you understand what the muscular effort was as you release and come into a resting or neutral state. And then bringing the other leg up, exhaling, supporting that leg with one or both hands. And again, I really am taking time to point out for you that when you do this drawing in of the knee, if it affects the upper body, then you back off of the pose. It's not about our ego and seeing how far we can go and how much we can do. It's really the relationship of how all these body parts move and affect the others. Drawing in the other leg and keeping it free. You're going to pulse that one. Inhale, extending, and exhale, bending. Try to make your breaths nice and even. Give them some length. And one more time, inhale, lengthening, and exhale, bringing it back towards you. Setting it down, taking a breath in. When the foot's rooted, then lower down the other one. Palms up, arms beside you. Have the feet a little wide. And we're going to take the knees slightly to one side. Inhaling, exhaling them upright, and inhaling to the other side. Notice that I'm keeping the shoulders grounded and I'm not trying to reach the floor with my knees. It's a integrated process. Body, mind, and breath, are they all working with ease and in a coordinated manner? So a couple more each side. Again, if you tolerate, anytime you're experiencing pain or discomfort, please stop. Inhaling the knees to the side and exhaling back to center. Go one more round. So this set of poses are intended to help with the digestion system and to help open up the muscles of the torso, the hips, pelvis, and the legs. Pausing in center. We're going to bring one knee back in towards. Generally in yoga, we always start right side. So as you have your right leg drawn in towards you, keep it gently drawn in, just to that place of end point, not muscling. It's not about working the biceps here. And extend the left leg down towards the floor. And just see if it is able to reach the back thigh towards the floor. If there's some airspace there, just notice that. It's giving you information about what's happening within those muscles deep along the spine that are probably a little tight and changing your posture and your alignment. So not forcing, but we're engaging. We're not passively lying here. So try to put a little action in the muscles of the leg, press through the heel, trying to straighten that leg and keep the other leg drawn in. Come back to being aware of what's happening in the shoulders and neck. If you're starting to arch or lift, if the breath is becoming strained or held, then back off the pose in some segment. Either the knee towards the chest comes away or the leg on the floor bends. One more breath. So this is working towards that lunge pose. It would be if I'm bringing that foot up, and we'll get to that. Bending the straight leg, rooting the foot, and then lowering down the other one. Pausing, just notice the relationship. In the resting cycle is when we get more information. Inhaling and exhale, draw the left knee in, supporting, and then slowly straighten. This is a good time to look at your habits, your nature of how you approach something, the movement patterns. So if you're going fast, if you're going quickly to an end position, you might be missing some important information that could lead you to understanding patterns of injury or why healing is slow. So engaging the muscles of the extended leg, so I'm squeezing muscle to bone, I'm pushing away through the sole of the foot, and I'm drawing the other knee in towards the chest, still keeping even on the pelvis, balanced across the shoulders and relaxed through the neck and jaw. Bending the straight leg, planting the foot, and lowering the other leg down and noticing. We're going to go back to bringing right knee to chest. Supporting that leg, I'd advise you right now to have your hand behind, and then bringing the other leg up, support of your breath, exhaling. So now we're more in a child's pose again, or happy baby. We're going to explore keeping the thighs drawn in and alternating raising the foot away. And doing that with the breath pattern. Inhale as you lift the foot away from the back of the thigh, but try not to move the thigh away from the chest. So if your habit is to try to do this, to try to make this the big motion, take your focus a little bit differently. We're trying to get some length in the fascia, the connective tissue along the hip musculature. So if you are letting off of that by moving the leg away from the chest, you're kind of missing the intent of this particular pose. So one more cycle, inhaling, moving the foot away, and exhale. Slow movements paired with the breath, and then setting the feet down one at a time. So we're almost finished with this sequence here. Breath in and breath out, come to neutral. Your body needs to know the resting phase, and it needs to know the opposite of working. So one more time, bringing knee into chest, and then exhaling, bringing the other one in. And having your hands on the front of the knees. You're going to extend the elbows. So I'm straightening my arms, but I'm still keeping contact with my knees. And you're going to alternate taking one knee out to the side, inhaling, exhale, bring it back upright, and then inhaling the other leg out to the side and upright. Notice I'm not rolling through the trunk. I'm not trying to make this a motion where my knee is touching the floor, or if you're on the bed, touching the bed. I'm opening to lengthen the inner thigh muscles and feel how that hip moves in its socket and what that feeling is like on the back of the pelvis in the sacrum. Inhaling on the outward motion, exhale coming in, and one more inhale, opening the other knee out, exhale coming in. Before we put the knees down, I want you just to draw inward circles, small. Think of the thigh bone like a pencil, and you're drawing small circles with the knees, but you're feeling the relationship, what that motion is like in the hip socket itself, and how it feels as you draw the knees in towards you in the tip of the pelvis, and how it feels in the region of the pelvis sacrum when the knees move away from the body. Still supporting the movement with the breath, and then pausing and setting one knee down or one leg down at a time. Breathing as you go. Again, the leg is going to be pulling on the back, causing the pelvis to tip or the back to arch. We're trying to engage those muscles enough to stay stable in relationship to the movement of the legs. So we want to open up the upper half as well. So bring the arms out at shoulder height, palms up. And just noticing the relationship again, when the arms are in this position, how that feels at the level of the shoulder blades and in the neck. Bringing the arms down beside, palms facing the hips. Inhale, bringing one arm alongside the head and noticing where it goes to. If you're not able to reach the floor, don't force, because you're going to be borrowing from the torso, arching the ribs and straining. So the trunk stays grounded, the curves of the spine stay evenly supported, And it's just the reach of the arm to where it goes for you. Again, if you're starting to bend the elbow just to reach the floor, then the arm has to come back up away from that. We're keeping the arm straight. Coming back down, let's see what the other side, because we're different, right and left, based on dominance. Notice relationship of the arm as it comes overhead with what's happening through the spine. And if your body is responding okay to that, or if it's putting on the brakes, if you're feeling a sense of muscular tension. Inhaling on the rise, exhale lowering. And inhale on the rise, and exhale lowering. Now we're going to see what the difference is. We've had our knees bent, which supports the back, straightening one leg at a time. So when we do this position, it's much like mountain pose when we're standing up. So have the inner thighs touching, the inner edges of the feet touching. When the legs are extended, did that cause an arching in the back? Can you engage the stomach muscles in order to level the pelvis and support the spine? And then alternating, arms overhead, inhaling on the rise and exhale lowering, stopping at any time if it causes pain or discomfort, not forcing. This is that sense of practicing honesty with yourself about where your body really can move. Exhaling on the lowering. So that pose leads to a segment of sun salutation, mountain pose with arms overhead, and that will be in the next video. So when we're doing sun salutations, we've already practiced part of that is with knees bent, one at a time here. And then drawing the knee in. I'm just taking you last time through the sequence. Holding one thigh in and straightening. This would be similar to lunge pose if we added the lift of the foot. Coming back down. Again, you're gathering information about yourself. We're taking that leg down. And then we're bringing both knees in. And the length on the back of the thighs gives us information. Would I be able to do a downward facing dog? So do I have the range and strength for that? This is gentler position to practice that in, setting the legs down. And then we have to do the lunge on the other side. So draw left knee into chest, straighten the right leg down, and extend the foot up. So all the poses we just did will combine to a sequence that is called sun salutation. And we would end with legs straight, the arms coming overhead, and back down to the side. So I'm going to come up to sitting. You are welcome to stay in your position on the floor. Know that this can be a practice done all by itself, or you can add this sequence to the one in the next video on a gentle sun salutation, a standing sequence. Or you can move to Shavasana, and that's a restful awareness pose, just to let your brain integrate the sequence of these movements. So thank you for joining me.